Hello everybody, welcome back. This is Pete Dahlgren and we are building the Maersk Models F86. As you can see, I've got two of the wings are primed and we got a lot of work to do. This is the second coat of primer on this and I'm wanting to show you guys some things that I've done. We've done so much on the jet I couldn't leave well enough alone. And so I changed the backbone of this thing a little bit and I changed this fin. I made it sharp the way it's supposed to be. And how I did it is I just used a couple pieces of 1/4 inch. And also this was kind of a part when you're moving it around that gave it, you got to hang on to it kind of right there. So this is a solid piece. And what I did, and I don't want to, a lot of you in Facebook have seen the actual building of this and why I did it. The thing about it is looking at the models and all that, that's sharp, it's not round. And you guys can look back in previous and you'll see this really improved the look of this jet by a long shot. And with the wings primed finally and all this stuff like that, we're just killing it. And there's a lot of body work and a lot of sanding to do on this. And I want to give you guys kind of a close-up on this because I showed you guys how to shave these wings. I hope that's in this series and all that. But this is very thick primer on here. And this is why I like using 2K, is because once this dries, it'll stay there. And I can go over some 220 grit and wet sand all of this and every bit of the flaws out of it. And it will stay. It will actually fill those realistically. Then I'll come back and I will fill these areas that need it and do some extra body work where it needed. There'll be a couple little spots and that's to be expected. But I wanted to get this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to guide coat both of these wings. And it's going to show me where every bit of the low spots are and how far to sand. And I will actually sand part of the top coat of the epoxy off with this to get it flat. And this gives you a really good way of getting everything kind of situated with it. Now I just glassed that in, and I was going to shoot some other videos and I thought the ones that went in from Facebook would actually transfer over because I'm actually part of Maersk Builders on that, and that's another group I started, and I've got even more followers than we do on the YouTube channel on that, with guys that are actually building the jets. So in building the Maersk jets. And if you're on Facebook, please do join us on Maersk Models and Maersk Jets Builders. And it's a Facebook group, a lot of great guys on there, and they're coming up and actually killing it on a lot of their builds. They've got some pretty amazing ones, and a lot of you guys are here too, but a lot of you are not. Anyway, I'm going to let this cure overnight. And then I will come back and I will sand it. I will do all the filling in the little spots I got. I will guide coat it again, and then I will do it again. Then I'll flip the wings over and repeat the process. But anyway, the build is just, it's dictating other things. I am looking at this like an artist at this point. There are things that I love about the jet, and there was a few things I just could not stand about it. And nothing without a little bit of knowledge and a razor saw and a sanding block nothing is out of your reach. So one of the things I'm going to tell you guys is that with the fin on it, it actually resembles the model a whole lot nicer. And depending on the model, if you're building an F model, you're going to be doing a different nose and everything than what I've done. And I wanted to show this because I've had people asking. The A model has a very, very sharp nose. It's a different airplane compared to the F. And these are things you got to research and look through and look at a museum and this and that. Also, the A model did not have a full moving stabilizer. They did that later. So the A model did have it. Did have actual elevators like this. And it did have air brakes, but it did have a sharper nose and a different tail on it. The tail cones are completely different between the A and the F. And so you want to be sticking with what you're doing. And it's paying attention to the details of what you're doing on those. And you'll notice that we've just got a ton of stuff done on this jet lately. And there's a ton yet to do. And so my main thing is to get this and start getting things done in panel lines and start getting this thing looking busy. Everywhere you look, there'll be a detail. And these are where this part of the build is, that's why it's a different series. We're not building, we're detailing. We are completely going through, we're surfacing the skins of the airplane and get it. And before we leave here, I'm going to show you guys a little bit on the alcohol method, because I want to show you with this how thin this really is and just how well it penetrates. This is a piece of the fiber 1 ounce cloth that I took off of the airplane, and this even with a little bit of Bondo on it. And I'm going to show you guys that by thinning your mix like this, it'll actually, it never gets fully hard. Now if you do some little filling like this and that, you're still getting some pliability on it. But this is why I like this stuff. And this is the actual cross section. This doesn't weigh anything, guys. This is actually part of the wood and part of the fillers that it actually penetrated all the way through and pulled out. And this is where it came off. This was actually the old fin that was on there. And I just wanted to show you guys this because it does actually penetrate so incredibly well. And this is with fillers and fillets and all this other thing. And I actually lightened the back end of this airplane up quite a bit by removing this part. And if you look on the other thing, this just looks 100% better. And I will get 2 more coats of resin on it. I'll block it down, sand it, prime it, put new panel lines. It's not even an issue. And then it'll look like it's supposed to. I'll be able to get these other panels and pieces in there because I did not like the way that other one looked. It was driving me crazy, so I changed it. And that's the beauty about building a wood model. If you don't like something, it's easy to change it. I'm also going to show you guys some repairs I got to do on some areas. And little things like this is just, they're nothing. And we will fix this with a little bit of primer. We'll sand it and it'll be not a problem. And I'm going to show you guys a lot of these things and getting things just set up and done. Your jet is going to be what you put into it. And if you're going to go for something that looks kind of scale, or you want something that's just going to be a sport jet, that's good. You know, the truth be known is I could actually, before doing rivets and things like that, I could have actually, at this point, put the landing gear, hooked all the servos up, and got all the systems done. We could go fly this airplane within 24 hours as it is. But I'm not going to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to get it, we're going to finish it up, we're going to start adding a lot of details. And then after this is done, we're going to finish the wing tanks up because I got some wood coming. I'm going to get those done, get the other one glass so I can start working it. And I'm going to start getting a lot of the other components done on this airplane so that we can actually get in and start getting the rivets, the panel lines. We're going to make some racing. We're going to add some gun doors. We're going to add a lot of things. We're going to be doing a lot of priming and a lot of things getting it ready for paint. And one of them is going to be simulating the wing slats. And that they're going to be simulated. They're not going to work, but they will look like they're actually there. And these are little details and actions that you just want to make sure that when you're doing these things is that you're actually looking at the big picture of what it's going to be. We want the jet to look amazing. So we're getting closer, and the little tiny things that I'm doing right now, even though they're little tiny setbacks like that is, why that's curing. I'm working on other things like hatches and stuff like that. Got a lot of things to paint. We got a lot of things to build. We got a lot of things to install in this jet yet. We got doors to cut. We got doors to make. We got doors to remake. The list goes on. We got hinges to install. We got a cockpit kit to do. We got everything yet going on. But the one big thing about this is that now that a lot of this big, major, nasty part of this job is done, as soon as the panel lines are there'll be one thing that I will absolutely do. And that is, once all the woodwork is finally completed and all this other thing, I will stop exactly right dead in my tracks. I'm going to make a special carrier for the fuselage, and I'm going to be doing that out of high density foam. We're going to be making things to protect this investment, because this is a very expensive airplane at this point. And we're looking right around the $10,000 range on this as it is. And the last thing I want it doing is sitting on a floor. And so the main thing is I will be doing these parts. We will be doing a lot. We're going to be spending a lot of time doing panel lines and other little things that go on in this. And in order to do a lot of those things, we got to get the shop completely reset up. And so these tables will be cleaned off. All the shelves are going to be cleaned off. All the scrap is going to be discarded. Whatever we don't need, as soon as all this deals, after I get all these deals and blocks and all these things made, then it's going to turn into a detail shop. And I will bring an office chair in here, and we'll be sitting down building all these components that are going to make this thing really spectacular. So my shop is a destroyed mess. There's no way out of it at this point, and it just is what it is. And so if you got a big shop, and if you were in here, you'd probably yell at me anyway, and I don't care, because I encourage that. But the one thing is, we are going to go in and start getting this jet ready to paint, and start getting all the other things that go in here ready built, and get them all done. And then we're going to spend probably the next 3 or 4 months start getting things done. And I don't think this jet is going to be near as difficult to get all the details that I want to put into it done. And so for now, I'm going to hold this off, and I'll keep you posted. We'll show you what that looks like repaired. You'll never even know it was even cut out. And then we're going to start getting these wings and everything completely detailed and done. I mean, there's a lot of little things I would love to have changed on this jet, and I should have, but I didn't. And so this is my motto about building a scale jet. You're never going to finish it. You're just going to give up on it. And I don't mean that dumb as a dumb statement. I just mean it because I have so many things allotted and planned for this thing that I just got right now, in order for me to be in line for Top Gun and be able to do any kind of things and be able to get some flights in on this, I need to be spending no less than 25 hours a week on this thing to get it done. There's a ton to do. And it takes time to get things from Serbia, so I need to make sure that I have every bit. I'm getting the tops done of the wings, so then I know what I got to do on the bottom. So we got lights to install. We got tons of things going on, so we'll get that. And so anyways, I want to thank everybody for watching, and we're coming very close to being done with this airplane. I mean, I'm looking at the light at the end of the tunnel on it. And as you guys can see, it is turning out to be a very, 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 very nice airplane. And so the things we're going to do next are going to make it even better. And we are going to start detailing, painting, weathering. This jet is going to be just plain mean. It's just going to be really cool. So we're doing this in time where a lot of things are just going to be what they are. And in order to do them and stay on top of everything, we have to have, we got to get the time involved in it. And as far as money goes on this jet, I'm saying to build it the way I've done it is about $10,000, guys. And when you consider what it costs to buy retracts and what it costs to buy all the other parts for this, to build a fiberglass one that's already basically done with the same personality that everybody else has got, then you're going to be a whole lot more than that. So you can save some money by building one of these yourself. It's going to take you time, but it's also one of those deals where a lot of this is just going to be on you and how far you're willing to go with these things. So anyway, again, we're looking at the jet we're looking at the jet and just going, holy shit. But anyway, it's not about he's better and this and that. And I just want to reiterate one thing. So I am not the best builder there is on the face of the planet. I am happy that a lot of people think I'm one of the best, but I'm really not. I'm just a guy that loves these things. And there's a lot of things that I want you guys to remember. You learn by doing. And after years and years and years of these things, once you've got the experience to actually go in and know what it is you want to do, it's just a matter of your imagination that's holding you back. There's nothing in this world that, and I tell my kids this, there is the only thing that is holding anybody back, especially when it comes to my daughters. It's one of those deals where the only thing that's holding them back is themselves. And there's no grass growing underneath my girls' feet. But guys, those girls are killing it, and I'm very proud of them. And there's just so much that I can say that it doesn't take a lot to keep me happy, but it does keep a lot to, keep me focused. And this is one of the things that I've always done that's always kept everything real for me. So building airplanes is a passion. It's a love I like to do. And this is just where it is. And so it's a beautiful airplane. If you guys want it, those of you that are new and just kind of browsing, you get them through this guy. And I can tell you another little story too, is that in order to show how strong these wings are, and I actually have a video somewhere about it. I am actually able, and I do it in a heartbeat. As soon as they're done, I'm going to do a demonstration on a couple things, and I'm actually able to put my entire weight on the center tube, fully seated into the pockets where the spars are. I am able to put my entire weight on these wings, and they don't even flex. They're that strong. So if you guys are wondering about that, that's the fact of the matter is these things are insanely strong. These wings, I don't think you could break them. And the only way they would is if you just didn't take your time to sheet them. And I've shown you the right way. And again, guys, don't put it in one piece. I hate doing it that way. It just, yeah, I wish I'd have done it the way I did on the bottom. They come out so much nicer. And it takes a little bit longer, but it's just a better joint all the way around. And I'm glad I did it that way on the bottom. But they're fine. Not going to be anything crazy. But you can actually see where I've got to sand all this off. And it's fine. These will sand out amazingly well. And going to take a while for this stuff to cure out, and so I'm going to go up and crack a beer and sit up there with the little woman and watch some old movies or something and make her happy. So until then, guys, one more thing, and I just want to bring this up because a couple guys have asked about it, and phone in before you guys get dead here. Okay. One thing is that I just wanted to kind of bring up, and a lot of guys have asked me, is that the parts I got, as guys were asking about, this thing's going to be a pain in the butt. But anyway, guys were asking about, right in here, about the parts, and I'm gonna grab one for you. And since my phone's dead, it smells like shit. Talks amongst yourselves. And guys wanted to ask about this, and sorry about that. Guys, these parts are big, but anyway, this is the iFly Attili seat. And I just want to kind of reiterate a few things on these, is that they do require a little bit of work. They're not hard to do, and they are, they're pretty damn nice, and they look great. They are printed, And the one thing I wanted to bring up is that this seat costs about 39 bucks. And this is a quarter scale seat. And the reason it's like that now is because we just have had a lot of talking going on between iFly Tillies and this and that. So his parts are absolutely fantastic. And some things need a little bit, other things don't. And so I'm actually going to primer this and then try to sand it out and this and that. I'm going to weather it and make it look a little bit older. But they are very nice parts, and I just want to kind of bring that up. And I think you guys will agree that there's just, they're not heavy either, and that's another question. In the back headrest, that's not it. It needs to be glued in. It's just like the seat. And the seats they're just very well done. They're very strong too, and they're just not a part to get overly shook up about on it. But they are very nice, and the details can be brought out even nicer. They do have the injection handles and other things. So those are just little things that go, and the rest of them are cast resin parts that are going to be extremely visible, and so they'll look great. And these can be sanded, they can be primered, they can be sanded, and they can be done this and that and made to look any way you want them. I'm personally just going to paint them and get them a little dirty. So I don't want to get too much and too overly with certain things in there. So anyway, guys, that's it for today. And I'll see you guys in the funny papers, all right?